What's up, it's FULLERMOE. Today's video is all about creating lifestyle mockups in Photoshop using stock photography. I could see a few scenarios where this is going to be really useful. One, if you're a clothing brand and you don't have physical products to take photos of, you could use this method to give your customers a realistic representation of what the design is going to look like on someone's body. If you've already done a photo shoot, but you want some additional looks as well, I also think if you're a designer, this is a really good way to present your graphics to clients, because then it gets them in the mindset right away of, okay, this is how the design is going to look on someone in the real world. You know what I mean? So let's jump into my computer. Okay, so the first step is finding the right photo. Now, obviously, the high resolution photo you find, the better. So I like to use pexels.com. You know, I have subscriptions to a few different sites. This particular site is free. There's a lot of great photos on it. You just always want to make sure that you're checking out like the license section. Depending on what you're using the photos for, you might need to give credit to the photographer, you might need to pay for a commercial license and things like that. So you always want to check that out. I was lucky enough to find Teddy Yang on Pexels, who's doing really amazing work. He did a whole photo shoot with this same model in different outfits, so that was really helpful. You know, if I was mocking something up on a lighter colored t-shirt, this would be great. I was just looking for a black t-shirt. This shirt that dude's wearing here is like pretty minimal in terms of the graphic, which is great because we'll have to ultimately remove it. Shout out to Mastermind, by the way, OG streetwear brand. If you don't know them, look them up. I'm gonna use one of these photos because I think they're great and dude has great style, so we're just gonna use this. So I think I'm gonna go with this photo, so let's bring this into Photoshop. Okay, so this is the completed mock-up. This is what we're gonna be doing today. I just wanna show you kind of the before and after, and this is the photo that I just brought in now, so we're gonna start completely fresh. The first step is gonna be removing this logo like I mentioned, so let's just zoom in here nice and close. For my money, like the easiest way to remove, you know, small graphics like this, and obviously you want to find ideally just a blank t-shirt, but there are going to be cases where you might have to, you know, get rid of a little logo or something like that. So the way I do it is just use the plain old lasso tool, and I'll just lasso around the graphic, and I'll try to keep it like pretty tight, but make sure that, you know, I'm covering the entire graphic with my selection, and that sort of any shadows or other like embellishing from the graphic as I go. So this one's pretty easy. We kind of lucked out on this. You know, it would have been great if it had been a blank t-shirt, but I really wanted to use you know, this photo because I think it's great. So I'm happy to do a little work on my end to get rid of this graphic. So now that we have it, you know, pretty much selected all the way around, I'm just gonna do a little bit more here. We're gonna go to Edit, Content Aware Fill. It's gonna show a little preview over here on the right side. This is pretty good. I mean, I'm gonna maybe have to use the clone stamp tool in a couple areas, but the default settings look great. So we'll just click OK, get rid of this selection, and that looks good. I mean, I can see just because I know that I got rid of it, I don't think anyone else would notice. Sorry to keep zooming in and out, but this right here could probably use a little bit of a cleaner look. So I'm gonna use the clone stamp tool. I'm gonna bring the opacity down to like 40%, and then I'm just gonna click in like a lighter area and just kind of paint right here. So it's not full, it's not at 100%, so it's just lightening it a little bit using this other area of the t-shirt. I think I can do it here too, maybe right here. But yeah, that's pretty good. And you have to also remember that a graphic is gonna go over this entire t-shirt, so no one's gonna be paying attention to this like little area, but you know, you wanna do as good of a job as you can with it. So the next step is I'm going to duplicate this background, so we always have this original graphic to go back to for whatever reason. And then I'm going to merge this content aware fill layer with our new layer, right? So now we've just got this one layer, dude in the t-shirt, now it's a blank t-shirt. So the next step is going to be masking the t-shirt. So basically we need to isolate this t-shirt so that we can clip the graphic to it and then make some other adjustments as well. So the way to do that is use the pen tool over here on the left side, and you'll just want to go in and, you know, as tight as you can, like on the t-shirt, just start drawing around it. Now this is going to take, you know, more or less time depending on how complex, you know, the t-shirt is. If you're not, you know, willing to put the time in to properly outline this t-shirt, you know, maybe you just want to go to Creative Market or some other, you know, company that's offering model mock-ups and use their pre-made stuff. The problem that I ran into is I just couldn't find templates that were good enough, like that had the aesthetic that I was going for. So I just had to make my own, and a lot of you are going to find yourself in that position. So if you really want to, you know, use the photos that you want to use, you have to be willing to do this tedious work. So I'm going to go ahead and skip forward, and we'll see what the result is after I've outlined this whole thing using the pen tool. All right, so here's the final result. I'm gonna be honest, it took a little bit longer than I expected, mostly because of this like really intricate chain. You can see like when I zoom out how many little points there are. So that took a little bit longer than I had anticipated, but it's all good. So now that we've got this sort of ready to go, what we're gonna do is create a mask, right? So we've got this layer right here, and we're gonna just click mask. And so now we've basically got a layer that's just the t-shirt. And so from here, what I like to do is create 2 more layers using this t-shirt. So let's just call this shirt, and then I'm gonna go Command J, and that's just gonna copy this layer twice. I'm gonna rename this layer shadows, and this one highlights. So the next step is placing some artwork onto this mock-up. We're going to use this Death Racer graphic from my brand Sense Overlord. If you're interested in checking out the Salem series, this was a part of it. It's over on senseoverlord.com. Ideally, you know, you'd want to use something that has a transparent background like this does. If there is, you know, a black background and you have to merge the artwork, all the layers together, that's not a big deal. But just so everyone knows, this tutorial is specific to dark colored t-shirts. You know, we're mocking up on a black t-shirt. So if you try to use all of these same methods on a white t-shirt, it's not going to work the same way. You'd want to use a different blending mode, etc. So just a little heads up. So let's just grab this artwork. We're going to hit Command A, and that's going to select the whole canvas. Command C to copy back into our mockup, and then I'll just hit Command V and paste it in right away, convert to smart object, and we'll just size this down. So I'm just holding down the shift key so that it sizes down and maintains the aspect ratio of the graphic. So you basically want to just like size it around, you know, where, you know, the size it would be printed on a t-shirt, right? So like if you were doing, you know, a center logo t-shirt, you'd want to do something like whatever like that, or I'm sorry, a chest logo t-shirt, something like that, you know what I mean? So we want this to be like a full size, you know, pretty much maxed out screen size. Okay, so we've got the artwork size kind of the way that we want it. The next step is going to be placing it again, but we're going to use a tool that is basically going to shift the perspective of the graphic so that it better matches the pose of the model. So let's go Command A, grab this whole canvas, Command C with our artwork layer highlighted, and then we'll just hide this layer and we'll create a new layer, and then go to Filter, Vanishing Point. Now I'm gonna be totally honest, I've had some issues with Vanishing Point in that it can be a little bit buggy sometimes. So sometimes you have to draw this box out a few different times in order to get it to place correctly. This is a lot easier if you're using this tool for like placing a frame on a wall in a photo or something like that. But when you're using you know, doing something a little bit more complex like we're doing now, it might take a couple attempts. So I'm just letting you all know that. So basically what you do is just draw out kind of a box that fits the perspective of where you'll be placing the graphic. So this should work. I'll hit Command V and paste in our artwork, and then I'll bring it down into the artwork and see like it's going off the edge right now. So this is like not really gonna work for us. This thing can be finicky sometimes, so we'll try it again. So that's better. So that's more or less what we're going for here. And like I said, I don't know why it's buggy sometimes. It might just be a Photoshop thing. Again, maybe it's something I'm doing incorrectly, but this will work. So we'll just click OK. So just as a reminder, this is where we were before, and this is where we are now. So it definitely looks, you know, more organic with the pose of the model. So let's change the name of this layer to Replaced Artwork. And we're gonna change the blend mode to screen as well. And that's just another thing that can, you know, definitely make it look more organic and natural. And if you have that black background, you definitely will need to use screen as your blend mode. So from here, we're gonna double click this Replaced Artwork layer and go down to Blend If, make sure this is set to gray. And then on the underlying layer, you see these 2 points on the left and right. Now, normally you could just drag this over, but if you look, it makes the graphic look really harsh. So there's a better way to use this tool that will make it look a lot smoother. If you hold down the Option key and then you click this point, it's going to split it. So now when you move this, this sort of like half toggle, half of the point, the transition looks a lot more smooth. And so you can actually move the left side too. I've found that the sweet spot is usually like with the left side of the point is maybe between honestly 0 or like 10. So I'll move it to 10, maybe even 12. We'll go to 12, and then you can move this point, this other half of the point, maybe to 50, like between 40 and 50. And you just want to look at the graphic, and there's a few parts like this shadow right here is really important. I think that's really important and is adding a lot more realism. So I want to make sure that that's coming through. And so once I kind of start to see that coming through a bit more, that's when I'll stop. So I would say I also don't want it to look super faded because that's not the way the graphic is printed. So let's say like, yeah, honestly, maybe just for like, yeah, maybe 50. Let's just go 50 on that. So the next thing I'm gonna do is bring this Replaced Artwork layer right above the shirt layer, right click and create clipping mask. That way, you know, if you are using a graphic that's a bit larger on the t-shirt, if you move it around, it's going to stay within that masking layer that we created of the t-shirt, right? So now we'll add even more detail by using some shadows and highlights. Let's start off with the shadows. So we'll make that visible, and I'm gonna actually turn these into smart objects. So right click, convert to smart object, highlights, right click, convert to smart object. Let's start off with the shadows. So with the shadows, we actually need to invert this t-shirt. So we can do that by hitting Command I. That's going to invert the whole thing. The next step is Command U to bring up the hue and saturation box. And then we'll just bring the saturation to -100. From here, if you want to use levels, it's cool. I'm good with using just brightness and contrast. I think that's going to get the job done. So let's go to Image Adjustments, Brightness, Contrast. And we're just going to bump this up. So it's not like super contrasted, but just enough that we're seeing a lot of these shadows coming through, right? Okay, I'm good with that. 4 and 72, sure. Okay, so now that we've got our shadows layer kind of how we want it, we can change the blend mode to multiply. So now we've got this extra layer of detail, but it's just shadows, so we want to make sure we add highlights as well. We're going to go through the same process, except for we don't need to invert the image on this one. So we can start off by just going to Image Adjustments, Brightness, Contrast, check use legacy, and then we'll bump up the contrast. We'll bring down the brightness, and we're just gonna look at the whites sort of here, the highlights. So nothing too crazy. We're just gonna want a little bit of detail. We don't want it to be super contrasted. Maybe something like that might work. So we'll click OK, and then we'll hit Command U. Again, bring the saturation down to -100. Now instead of multiply, which we used for shadows, on this layer we're going to use screen. So now we've got a level, or rather a layer of highlights and shadows. But it looks like this almost looks more like a vintage tee now, or it looks like shiny or something, which is not what we want. So we can definitely bring these highlights down. We'll bring the opacity down to maybe like 40 or 50%. Let's just try 40%. So that's pretty good. The shadows, you know, I don't even know that we'll need to mess around with them. They might be fine at 100%. If we wanted, we could play around a little bit more with the brightness and contrast, see if that changes it at all. See, like, even as I bump up the contrast here, you get a little bit more details in the shadows. So let's zoom in here. I mean, you know, for my money, I might not even use these shadows and highlights. I just really wanted to show you that option, because this is what looks good with my graphic. I would maybe reduce the opacity of the artwork to maybe like, yeah, 75. But you know, your artwork might look different, your mock-up might look different, and that's why these shadows and highlights might be really important to have. So I just want to make sure that I went over that with you. So again, when you're making these lifestyle mock-ups and you're using stock photography, it's definitely important to take some time and look through the licensing and see what you need to do, whether that's crediting the photographer in your work or buying a commercial license, whatever it is you're using it for. You just want to make sure that you're going through the correct steps so that you don't get, you know, an angry email or DM or whatever from the photographer and they're mad that you use their work. If you like this video, please hit the subscribe button. It really means a lot, and it also tells YouTube that people are subscribing to this channel, they're watching these videos, and that way it knows that it should share more of my videos with the design community and we can continue to build together. There's a lot of other videos on this channel, so keep watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.